about 5 minutes into the second half, played about 25 minutes through, and was absolutely brilliant in that spell. And yeah, I think the whole team. Joel Tompkins was the only player I don't think had a noteworthy performance. Everyone else was absolutely brilliant in a Wigan shirt, I thought. Okay. Even Joe Burgess, who didn't score that try that. I can't believe he's picked up a bit of a knock in the first half and he's been carrying something on one of his legs all year,
right.
And he's not got the same pace he's had before. And we were wondering whether it's because he's bulked up a bit or because there's something up with. I think there's something up with one of his legs, but a little niggle. But he redressed that balance with a great kick through for McIlroy's unbelievable pickup. I was talking to my brother-in-law before about it. He's a rugby union guy, plays in the States. And doesn't really follow rugby league at all, but was like amazed, and he thought it was like the opposite side winger coming across and taking that ball, and I was like, no, that was the hooker, and he was like, what? A forward had those hands, and then a winger had that skill to be able to kick back inside. He was amazed by some of those aspects of it, but he still misses the rucks and the mauls. I don't know.
Fair enough.
If whatever floats your boat.
There's no helping some answers.
But yeah, for Salford. I don't think anyone really matched up to Wigan. I think the Wigan's forwards, Wigan's players were just able to carry it so much stronger. There was an exit set that led to the McIlroy try, actually, where 3 carries took it about 45-50 metres up the field from Davies, then Gelling, then there might have been a bait one in there, and then Sutton finished off, I think, with a drive, and it was absolutely brilliant. And then the ball got spread wide because everyone had compacted across because they'd struggled to put these players down who still managed to get quick play balls, kind of like what Hull did.
Right.
It was. I thought Wigan were exceptional. Salford did get back into it, but couldn't keep up with the pace with the Wigan side in the second half.
Very good. Okay. Stats then. What do they tell us?
Wigan lost the error and penalty count 15-10 and 9-8 respectively, but were much more threatening than Salford with 11-3 in breaks and 600 more metres at 1.9 metres per carry better average gain.
Well, there you go. And individually, who stood out for us then?
Sam Tompkins, 159 metres, 3 clean breaks, should have had a try assist. We didn't talk about the Joe Burgess
chase down, yeah.
Well, brilliant Evalds chase down. You got to give him a lot of credit for that, and he did make an influence on it by playing at the ball.
Do you think it was the right call then to give it a try?
I think it had gone up a try, and he spent 2.5 hours looking at it.
He loves it though, doesn't he? That's the problem.
He should have. At that point, surely they couldn't say it was definitely conclusively not grounded by Joe Burgess. What was conclusive is that it came out of his hand's grip before the try line. But in my interpretation, and I'm probably again biased slightly, was that he still had it clamped between his arm and his body. It never lost his side.
It wasn't out of control, was it? He still had the ball.
It wasn't. He didn't lose contact with the ball and didn't lose downward pressure when it actually hit the line, and then it bobbled. But I think Thaler was too much influenced by one wanting to be the referee rather than the video referee, and 2, the ball rolled just after it hit the line. Yeah. But it didn't have. It wasn't. There was a reason to be doubtful of it. I just think when it's gone up a try and it's like that, how you can overturn it. Yet you couldn't overturn the McCarthy/Sal, whoever got that one down try. I think it was McCarthy.
It was McCarthy that got it, wasn't it? And it was. There was a frame, wasn't there, in the replay? Where
I think his hand was down the left-hand side of the ball, not necessarily on the top of the ball. So I'm not even sure So I don't know, but I was a bit frustrated that one could be giving us a try and one couldn't be. When clearly, for me, neither were more conclusive than the other either way. But
both of them should have come back down the way they went up for me.
But however it is, Wigan won and Wigan were way better.
They absolutely did. Okay, so no Superbrew or Dream Team. Go on. Sorry, you've not talked about the individuals.
Tom Davies 180 metres, Anthony Gelling 163, Oliver Gildart 2 tries, 157 metres, 2 clean breaks. Joe Burgess with that kick try assist, 176 metres and 2 clean breaks. John Bateman 125 metres, 3 successful offloads.
Okay.
Salford. Logan Tompkins worked really hard, 45 tackles. He went off for about 15 minutes from about the hour mark to about 2 minutes before the end. And Olsi Krasnicki came in at hooker, and as you can imagine, play kind of fell apart for Salford when they needed it to be at its best. Greg Johnson, 1 try, 166 metres, 2 clean breaks, was one of only 2 really players that I felt were a threat to the Wigan side. The other being Josh Jones, who like I say, we don't have tackable stats, but he probably had about 1,000 and 3 successful offloads. And Manu Vatavai really worked hard. He got 132 metres. He had more carries than anyone else in the Salford side, and did his best to make a positive influence on the game, but Wigan were on top of him a lot of the time.
Good on him. So no Super Brew or Dream Team this week, but predictions, Mark. I have issue with the way the scores are at the moment, because I think we might be the wrong way around here.
No, I'm on 102. You're on. You should be on 105 still.
There we go.
With a typo. Yeah.
I saw that today. I thought, well, I'll just address it.
I was 2 out of 2 in this game, and you were 1 out of 2 because you picked for Leeds. Yeah,
I did pick for Leeds. Okay. Well, we'll have Super Brew and predictions, and we'll have Super Brew and Dream Team back next week, won't we? Right. That is the Challenge Cup semi-finals taken care of. Let's take a look now at some results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league. Okay, so 2 results from elsewhere in rugby league then. League 1's round 1 of the Super 8s this weekend, Mark. So Doncaster defeated at home 24 points to 32 by the Keighley Cougars. Newcastle suffered the same fate, going down 14-30 against Workington. Whitehaven were beaten 2 points to 15 by Barrow in an attritional Cumbrian derby. But the result of the week goes to the York City Knights, who were 26-16 victors over the Toronto Wolfpack, inflicting a first league defeat ever on the new side from Canada.
In front of an amazing 2,602 people.
And that's
impressive crowd. So hopefully there's some momentum can be carried off the back of that, both on and off the field. But yeah, Tim G Radio got in touch with hashtag Rowley out, hashtag Wolfpack Slum 2017, hashtag Crisis. Not watched all the game, but I'm guessing the refs were biased. York cheated, feigned injury, and didn't play nice.
Sounds about right.
I don't.
They were 18-0 up at one point, weren't they, York? Or very.
Yeah, they were.
A few scores ahead, but looking tired. So they must have hung on.
Yeah, surely they did. Yeah, it was. I'm just having a look to see if they had what sort of. No, it's well done to them. Really, really good effort. What I would say is I've been working on a bit of a conspiracy.
All right.
That Toronto are trying to make it so that their home playoff games are more saleable. So lose 1 or 2 of these away ones, and then get behind the Wolfpack as they push for promotion.
I see.
Yeah, and also they want to seal promotion. In Canada.
Lamport.
Whereas, so let me see what the league table says.
I've given this some thought, haven't you?
And the league table says that they're now 3 points only ahead of Barrow and Whitehaven. With that game being, won by Barrow, quite an important win for them to get over the reverse from the last round of the regular season, which went the other way, putting Barrow back in second. But yeah, 3 points separate them from them. So if they'd have won all 3 of their games, it would have been 5 points with 4 games together. That's still 8 points, but potentially it could have been a wider margin with them playing each other and stuff like that. So now they'll definitely, I think, secure to have won promotion at Lamport.
Yeah, fair play. Well, we'll see if that tinfoil hat thing pans out. It probably will do, won't it? Okay, League 1 Shield round 1 as well. South Wales Ironmen were defeated. Forgive me, I'm so used to saying they were defeated. South Wales Ironmen beat the Gloucestershire All-Girls by 28 points to 20, Mark.
Yeah, massive for the Ironmen. Big boost as well with the move to it would be the first fixture at the new ground, won't it have been? I wonder what sort of crowd they got. Shall we find out?
Let's have a look. See, we had some contact though. Lee Randall got in touch. He says he's a Gloucestershire fan. He said, I didn't go to the game, but I followed it on Twitter, and I'd like to apologise on behalf of on behalf of the All-Golds, as there won't be an SLP meet-up at the Shield final after that result, which results in the end of the season for 2017 for the All-Golds. Maybe next year. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, the 3 points off the top 2 who can test that Shield final. So what about the...
Well, it was Hemel 32, Oxford 26. North Wales were defeated at home 12 points to 40 by the London Scholars.
Which actually helps the All-Gold because it keeps the Crusaders within 3 points whilst the Scholars stretch out to 3 points. But Mark Butler got in touch, our correspondent from Wrexham. He said, a repeat of the game...
man in North Wales.
A repeat of the game played less than 3 months ago that the Crusaders won by 40 points. It couldn't have been more different this time. Scholars bossed it from the off, ruthlessly turned penalties and repeat sets into points and had the game effectively won after 30 minutes. Considering Crewe's competitive display against the Heartland sides and narrow failure to make the top 8, this was a shabby display.
Okay, and final game of the round saw Hunts Barnsley defeat the Coventry Bears 56 points to 10. Into the NRL then, round 22 of regular season play in Australia. So the Penrith Panthers defeat the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs 16 points to 8.
Yeah, James Graham's return wasn't enough to get them over the line, but 40 tackles and 105 metres meant he worked his arse off.
New Zealand Warriors were defeated 12 points to 26 by my Sharkies. It was the Parramatta Eels 28, Brisbane Broncos 14. Newcastle Knights were 21 points to 14 winners over the St George Illawarra Dragons.
Yeah, a bit of an upset that one. Wardle played for the Knights, Widdop played for the Dragons. Yeah.
Big result for the Knights. It was South...
Still going to get a spoon, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's a good result for them. South Sydney Rabbitohs were beaten at home 18 points to 32 by the Canberra Raiders.
Yeah, and plenty of interest on Britwatch front here. Tom Burgess 104 metres, Sam Burgess 111 metres, George Burgess off the bench 140 metres, so George being the top performer there. First time for a while. Hodgson had a try assist in 118 metres for the Raiders in their victory. Whitehead played as well. There
you go. The Sydney Roosters defeated the North Queensland Cowboys 22 points to 16, and the Melbourne Storm were 40 points to 6 winners over the Manly Sea Eagles. We got some feedback on that one as well, actually, from Brendan Loftus, who said, I made a point of watching this game due to it being Cameron Smith's 350th NRL game. He really was the best player on the pitch and just about the oldest too. Amazing performance in State of Origin 3 recently, and you can see how much confidence he gives other players. Storm have a reputation for boring, robotic rugby league, but I was really impressed with their passing and movement this through Slater too. Manly weren't bad, they were just overrun. And the final game of the weekend, Mark, so the Gold Coast Titans go down 4 points to 26 against West's Tigers.
Yes, Joe Greenwood played.
There you go. So what does all that do to the standings down under?
Well, the Storm are with 34 points at top, followed by the Roosters on 32 and the Sharks on 30. Broncos are 4th, level on 28 points with the Cowboys and the Eels. The Sea Eagles sit on 26 points in 7th. Dragons hold on to 8th on points difference from the Panthers, both on 24, so that's a tight tussle for the top 8 there. Raiders on 20 are still in the mix. Games are running out for the Warriors, Titans and the Bulldogs.
Fantastic. So that is the world of rugby league well and truly covered. Let's take a break now as we bring you our regular season stat attack. Okay, Mark, I've been scouring my spreadsheets and looking at my figures, and I've come up with some really interesting... No, I'm kidding. What have you got for us?
I just thought I'd throw some numbers out there.
Super.
That, the best performers and that sort of thing. Some might pique some people's interest, but yeah. So from based on my figures, 350 players featured in Super League matchday squads this season, with Will Mayer of Castleford the only one who didn't see any game time of those 350, but he didn't sit out the whole. He did get a front row seat for
most of it,
smashing the Rhinos every season. So at least he got that benefit. Hull FC used the fewest players. Their injury crisis was stretched to using a squad of 25 players. Widnes used the most players with 37. With teams on average using 30 players. Wigan fielded on average the youngest sides this year in the regular season, 24.4 years old, their average starting lineup, average matchday 17, Castleford fielded on average the oldest side, 27.3 years old, so nearly 3 years older side on average for Cass. That was obviously boosted by the old warhorse Andy Lynch somewhat.
Yeah, he helps the averages, doesn't he?
14 players were able to play in every game of the regular season, Tom. Senny Lafayette from Cass, Leeming, Wakeman, Hinchcliffe and Clough from Huddersfield, Washbrook and Shaw from Hull, Danny Tickle and Matty Dawson of Lee, Robert Louis Convictus Basil Buser, then Carl Wood, Jack Hughes, Charlie Runciman and Frank Paul Nuasala of Wigan. 12 players, Tom, never tasted defeat this season in a Super League game that they ran onto the field for. Foster and Holmes of Cass, that's the young Tom Holmes, both played 9 games without tasting defeat. 2 young players in great sides there. Then we have Jai Hitchcock.
Yeah, more Castleford.
With 5, Leroya with 4. Then we get to some non-Castleford players. Jordan Turner played 2 games for Huddersfield, won both. Curry and Pomeroy did the same for Warrington. And then young Truman and Gill at Cass played 1 game and won it. English at Huddersfield. Greenwood before he scarpered to the NRL, and Jake Shorrocks before his season was cruelly ended by injury minutes after it started. All won their only games that they played too.
Fantastic.